Jr. last night.
Nothing could beat Trump Jr. last night.
I liked him, but a little too earnest. My advice to the media team is cut a little of the earnestness, make the guy a little street worn.
More like his father.
What's that?
More like his father.
I think so, yes. Not as much as his father, but halfway. Meet him halfway. He looks like a great kid. I came up in a family business. I worked in a family business, and I was my father's acolyte, like him. But my dear father always let me be myself, do my own reading, get my own education, right? And I still adore him and honor him, God rest his soul. But I still think, I went on my own way. That, I think, is the failing of Junior. But that's not the whole problem. It's just that that's the nature of conventions. It's a beauty contest, a beauty pageant. But overall, I'm happy with what's happening. I'm very content.
I will tell you, I know Junior, before he went off to go into real estate, he actually tended bar for a year.
Not bad.
Yeah, be his own man.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. Before I went into my family manufacturing business in the Bronx, I was a journalist, daily newspaper reporter. I'm an attorney, went to law school, important things. But, it's a special case being in business and being in a family business. And in most family businesses, it means you can never be fired. True in my case. I'm not sure in Trump's business. That may be different, but it is a unique experience. And I do think family businesses, Trump's and mine, Artistic Office Products, Bronx, New York, have been much maligned by the left. It's an honorable tradition. They're great enterprises, and they're the source of great innovation and employment, and really a different type of management. There's nothing to be ashamed of. And I think Trump should emphasize more of this positive stuff that you get in a family business, because it is, whatever the corporate form, it is some form of family business. Nothing wrong with it.
You're absolutely right. So have you been inside the convention center?
Absolutely. I'm an alternate, and I've gone to some of the staged presentations, and it's very interesting, but this is much more exciting.
You're an alternate and you're a delegate, and you're out here with what is supposed to be 10,000 anti-Trump protesters.
Right, because I feel like I'm in New York here. I feel like I'm in Times Square arguing with everybody. The beauty of this first night's convention is that to look around, see all your friends and people you've never met but will meet later who agree with you, which is very unusual for a libertarian, free market conservative from New York. You're arguing all the time or shutting up because your wife tells you to. Here you can talk and you meet a lot of friends, really interesting people who look just like everybody else. They just happen to be conservative, like I suppose you and your friend and my friend here, Howard. So it's a great experience. It's an emotional experience to be able to live with and even flourish with fellow conservatives. I don't think nobody's talked about it. It's a great, very good, almost like a rest cure, because you're not fighting all the time. And you're getting reinforcement, meeting nice people and a range of people. Some very unusual looking men, some very beautiful women who you wouldn't think of ever being even knowing anything about free market economics and Ludwig von Mises. But you're meeting them here, because that's what a convention does. And it just shows how great New York City could be if it had this type of ingathering of really informed, well-read, and great conservative, libertarian, free market people.
And now you're from New York. You're on the ground. Trump thinks New York is in the ballpark for him. Do you agree?
I think it is potentially. We could be proven foolish on election day, but I think potentially it is a great opportunity to see if everything we've been hearing about, the new immigrants, some of the minorities, people of color, who I know me and my friends and others have been saying are potential Republicans, the immigrants one generation in or just one or two jobs in become good tax-paying conservatives. They're all usually traditional conservatives in a gentle social conservative way. And we'll see if that's real. I also know a lot of African Americans in New York, people who worked for me, people who work for me still, who are traditionally part of the Democratic machine. It's almost in their legacy. I've heard from more than one of them that say, I like this Trump. He's a business guy. I used to work for a guy like him. He's very good at businesses. That's unbelievable. That's real America. And our African American brothers and sisters are sensitive to that in really interesting ways. So if they gravitate to Trump on election day in the Bronx, in Chicago, in Atlanta, in LA, it'll put the lie to a lot of this racist charge and the intolerance and the inequality charge, which we know is a lot of hot air for the most part. The Republican Party generally, not exclusively always, but generally is very welcoming to people of good nature who want to do well for their families, and smile on their neighbor.
That's absolutely true. Now, you say you're a libertarian-leaning conservative.
Yep.
Why would you say you're supporting Trump over the Gary Johnson campaign?
I want to win. William Buckley said you want to win. You want to vote for the person who's the greatest, who's a conservative, has a chance of winning. That's all that matters. As my friend here, Howard Hellwinkle, says, if we really lose this and lose this one bad, we are facing years, Supreme Court life terms of the wilderness and worse. The stakes are really horrible. Trump was not my choice. He's not my 50,000th choice. You just got to accept in life, you take what you dealt with. I can think of a lot of people in the borough of the Bronx who could do a very good job, who I would support. Never mind New York City and some other places. It's not our choice. It's a ridiculous, sclerotic party system. It's what we got.
You're absolutely right. And the man wearing the "Don't Tread on Me" button.
Just a moment, because we're going to a First Amendment meeting right now with some Tea Party people around 1:30. But in brief, my issue is mainly financial. We're facing a $19.8 trillion deficit right now. It'll be $20 trillion plus by the time the administration leaves. That could be an economic cancer to this country. There's only two ways, or maybe three ways to get out of it. One is to grow your way out of it, which is what Donald Trump talks about. Two is to print more currency, which will create inflation, which is a hidden tax, which will hurt the poorest and the lowest, the worst. Or three, it's to tax the population, which will hurt the poorest and lowest, the worst. Or four is to stay addicted to the money, but to declare a debt payment moratorium, in which case people stop lending us money, and that'll hurt the lowest class the worst. So what's going on right now is not going to help anybody, and it's going to hurt the lowest class the worst. So I think we need a president and an administration there that'll stop spending money, get ourselves to a balanced budget, and then start eating away at the deficit via a 5% GDP growth.
Well, that's very well spoken, and I completely appreciate that you are an economic voter. I think so many people are. It's jobs, it's fiscal responsibility, and I want to let you two have the last word, and then I'll let you go.
Sure. Anyway, I don't know who you are. Maybe we'll find out. You're doing a great job. We need good new media. We need fair media too, but we need some partisan media. There's a lot of evening up to do, and Fox is not enough. It's highly flawed, like all these multi-billion-dollar operations. So I respect you, the new media. I wish you a lot of luck, and I hope we can contribute to you someday in other ways.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time.
Tell me about